I've always believed that being a mother was my greatest calling. My son Adrian is my pride and joy. He's 24 years old, in med school, and working relentlessly to secure a future for himself. He barely has time for anything other than lectures, rotations, and studying. The few free hours he gets on a Saturday, he spends them with his girlfriend Lauren, who's also a med student. And yet, for the second time, a man has left me because I refused to kick him out. First, it was Daniel, a man I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. We were together for 3 years, and I was convinced he understood me. Until one night, over dinner, he brought it up in the most casual way possible. "You know, babe, at some point you'll have to cut the cord. He's a grown man. He shouldn't be living with his mother." I laughed at first, thinking he was joking. "He's in medical school, Daniel. He's working his ass off to make a future for himself." Daniel didn't find it funny. I get that, but it's not normal for a man his age to still be under his mother's roof. You're enabling him. Enabling? Was I enabling my son by supporting him while he chased his dream? I explained that Adrian and Lauren planned to move in together when the time was right, that he was responsible, that he barely even spent time at home. But it didn't matter. "He's never going to grow up if you keep babying him," Daniel had snapped. I was floored. How could a man who claimed to love me not understand? I told him that if he couldn't respect my decision as a mother, we had no future together. And just like that, 3 years went up in smoke. It took me a long time to even consider dating again, and then I met Victor. Victor was charming, intelligent, and successful, a real estate investor who swept me off my feet with his confidence and ambition. He was everything I thought I wanted. For a while, things were perfect until that same conversation came up again. We were lying in bed, and out of nowhere, he said, "So, when is your son moving out?" I stiffened. I already knew where this was going. "When he and Lauren are ready." Victor sighed. "You don't think it's weird? A grown man still living with his mom?" My blood boiled. Here we go again. Adrian is in med school, Victor. He's studying day and night, and I don't want him to worry about rent or bills while he's trying to become a doctor. It's temporary. Victor rolled onto his side, propping himself up on one elbow. "You're making excuses for him." I sat up. Excuses? So supporting my son while he builds a future is making excuses? You do realize that once he becomes a dentist, he'll be making more money than both of us combined, right? Victor shook his head. "You're blinded by motherly guilt. You've been alone so long that Adrian has filled the space where a man should be." That was the moment I knew we were done. I climbed out of bed, grabbed my robe, and turned to face him. "You're just like Daniel. You see a strong, independent mother, and instead of admiring her, you resent her. You want a woman who puts her man first at all costs. Well, that's not me." Victor scoffed. "You're never going to find a man who accepts this. No real man wants to compete with a grown son for his woman's attention." I walked to the bedroom door and opened it. "Then maybe I don't need a man at all." Victor hesitated, staring at me, almost as if he thought I'd changed my mind. I didn't. He got dressed in silence, grabbed his things, and left. The next morning, Adrian came home after spending the night at Lauren's. He took one look at me and knew something was wrong. "Another one bites the dust," he joked. I laughed, but it was hollow. "Yeah." He sighed and pulled me into a hug. "Mom, you don't have to do this for me. I can move out if it's causing problems for you." I held him tighter. "Absolutely not. I will never throw you out just to keep a man around." Adrian smiled. "Then it's their loss, not yours." And he was right. I will be very grateful if you subscribe to our channel.